This is Mimosas with Comadres with Mimi and Lola.
Welcome back to Mimosas with Comadres. My name is Mimi.
Lola.
How is everyone doing in this heat? I hope everyone's surviving. We are conserving energy here in San Antonio. I have my freaking fan on because I can't. My house is hot. Like, it's hot. Okay, so it's like 82 degrees right now. It's like, what, 8 o'clock and it's still 82 degrees in here. So it's kind of crazy. But today's segment is, just a little bit lighthearted, a little bit of serious stuff. We're just going to call like a no Pos Wow segment. It's just stories, chismes, stuff that's happening here that we want to talk about. And we're just talking about stories and articles we read or that we've heard of on either online, on the news, TikTok, Facebook, wherever we get our chismes from and our information from. And we're just going to talk about it for a little bit throughout the segment. So hopefully everybody had, what holiday passed by? What was that? Oh, Independence, is it?
Yeah, 4th of July.
4th of July. Hopefully everybody had a good one. If you didn't celebrate, we really didn't do anything. But if you did, hopefully it was a good time with your family. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just jump into the segments and talk about like what we want to, like what articles we found interesting.
Sure.
And then we'll just go through there. Hopefully, we are going to brainstorm after the session, a really quick one because we're kind of hot. I don't want to suffer. I make Lola suffering here because I'm like suffering too. But we will be announcing something soon regarding our journey, regarding our lifestyle. Remember, we had that nutritionist last time, or that she's actually a registered dietitian, and that kind of kickstarts some brainstorming for Lola and came up with some good ideas. And I think we're gonna present that to y'all. See if y'all join us and support us in that journey as well. But let's kick started. Who wants to go first? You want to share a story of yours, or I will go first? Doesn't matter.
You can go first, yeah.
All right. So the one article that I read that I guess is related to the whole Roe versus Wade situation that we're here dealing in Texas and all other states in the United States. There was this woman, I don't know if you guys heard about this one, about a woman who got a ticket because she was riding the HOV.
She was pregnant.
She was pregnant. She was 30 weeks pregnant when this happened, and she got pulled over because, of course, she didn't have anybody in her car because that's a high occupancy vehicle lane. So you at least have to have one passenger on there. And so this happened here in Texas, in Plano, Texas. Her name is Brandy Batone, and she pulled out the whole thing. Well, why do you want to because she was claiming her baby, her unborn baby, as a child. So we have a law stating here in Texas that an unborn baby is considered a person, but the public transportation is not considering my unborn baby as a person. So why are we picking and choosing when an unborn baby is considered a child?
Very good.
So she inputted their thing there. Her ticket is $250 for that, her fine. She is going to court on July 20th to see, and that's around her due date. So we'll see what happens on the results of that. But that's what she's submitting. She's saying, we have this all, of course.
Yeah.
Fetus is a child. She's 34 weeks pregnant when this happened. And she should be, the unborn baby should be considered another person in the vehicle. So that's what she's going to go in and fight with. So I thought that was interesting. And I was like, okay, let's go. Let's go and hit this. So I thought, it makes sense. Come on, you can't pick and choose. And they say that, since this law, the Texas Transportation hasn't updated their laws, and they don't consider an unborn baby a child. So we shall see how this plays out. We'll see at the end of the month if she does end up going to court, if she has a baby. We'll see. We'll keep you updated on that one. But I found that was an interesting little no Pos Wow moment of kudos. That makes sense to do.
Yeah.
So that was a good one, a little article of one. I know you had a little bit of interesting fun in your backyard, in your neck of the woods. Lola, do you want to share?
Sure. So I live in a little complex it's a mixture of condo owners and apartments. I guess it was apartments at one point, but now apparently you can purchase.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the owners, and I'm not like a watchdog. I wouldn't say I'm out scouting everybody, but I do like to familiarize myself with the area because we've had some break-ins and stuff, and I know I didn't mean to, but I may have left my truck open. If they check, whatever. So I came to my truck, and I'm leaving to go out with friends, and I was a little rattled, but I saw the contents in the middle out on the seats. And it's unfortunate, but I was bingo dabbers and all my masks and pads and stuff just in case for emergency stuff. So I was just like, oh, poor person, whoever was looking for buy stuff. They found bingo dabbers or pads. So I'm like, well, oops. But anyway, so long story short, when I moved in, I had ran into this this guy. They gave me the wrong parking spot. I didn't know at the time, but I parked there anyway. And he may have been out of town somewhere. He wasn't there for those few days. And then all of a sudden he comes home and there's a car in his spot. Obviously, he'd be like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
So I guess he figured out where I lived, and he's knocking at my door like he's the police. And he's like, hey, you're in my spot. And it kind of startled me, too, because you say hi to your neighbors. They don't necessarily come to your door, you know. So this is broad daylight, and I don't let anyone in I don't know. So needless to say, he took off, and he left a note on my truck, whatever. After that, I'd run into him, and we had like a running joke. We had 2 different people handling the HOA assignments. And after that, it just was like, hey, how's it going? Whatever. Yeah. So come to last week, I come home and I'm working from home. And there's like fire department, DEA, and some men that were dressed very casually sitting outside. But I see the area in front of that person's condo blocked off.
Oh, so it's the same person that you parked?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So I knew him, and it was kind of like, you know, distracting because I think I was more concerned with how I was going to get in and out of the complex since they had blocked off the area. So that was no problem. But when I came back is when I figured out where exactly they were going to.
Yeah.
And I told Mimi here, had a little fun with the fire department and the guys that were standing outside. I was playing innocent, like, oh my goodness, I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
And bend my eyelashes and stuff. And they were like, no, man, no problem, ma'am, we'll help you. And I was like, okay, thank you. So I had my moment, a little fun.
He took my blood pressure.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I should say like my loins are on fire, but I was like, that's probably gonna come off wrong. I said, never mind. I was like, with this heat, everyone's pants are on fire. So, very, very long story short, I'm coming home on the second day, and they're still camped out there, and they end up telling us, you know, kind of like, we'll stay away from this area. There's fumes and all that stuff, and that's when we find out it was like a meth lab. So there's a sticker on that condo that says warning, you know, there was illicit drugs, you know, seized at this property. And I said, well, crap, they're only like 2 doors down from me.
Freaking blowing up the whole complex.
Exactly. I was like, I'm working from home. And I was like, oh my God, jeez Louise. So all I kept thinking was, is this my warning sign for me to get out of here or what? And I have not seen that person. Their vehicle's still around, so I'm just like, maybe they took them, or I don't know what happened.
Maybe they took them.
But he was always so very nice.
Aww.
So I was just like, is
he
that...
was a nice crack at it.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, very, you know, he was like, I don't do it, but I just sell it. So I was like, oh my God.
Probably was going on, yeah.
And I said, well, that's unfortunate because he seemed nice enough, but the red flags that come off in my mind are he drove a vehicle that had added state plates. He didn't look, he looked like he was trying to be younger. He was an older man, half like bald, but he had like the earrings. He had rings on, but he still dressed kind of like, you know, didn't match all the jewelry. I don't know how to explain it. So, and then he had a younger man that lived in the same, like they both went in the same door. So I was just kind of like, oh my God, like I say hi to this person all the time. And I said, what if on their end, they're kind of like thinking, and this is me just thinking dumb thoughts. What if they're like, oh, well, now I have someone who says, oh, I'm a nice person. I have a character witness or whatever. So I was just like, no freaking way.
Wow, that's crazy. I thought it was just like a regular drug bust, but there was like a meth lab going on and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because they had like all the stuff that was outside, but they had chemicals, and they had like big old buckets that were stacked in the area. And I thought it was like a hoarder situation.
Oh, okay.
Because I have a lot of junk. You walk into my place, there's stuff everywhere. So I was just like, maybe they're just a hoarder. They can.
Peeps.
I was just like, I got you. So I was like, oh, okay. But I just thought it was that, and then they had to take the gate down because we have little gates to get into our patio space. So they had to take that off, and now when you go by, there's like no trespassing signs and stuff. So I was just like, oh my God.
Jeez.
But so like, that was like the only thing that happened. And then of course, the first night that it happened, that I saw them, my hair was just a mess, and I was like, I want to be like one of those chicks on Cops that's like their hair's all over the place, they're just never
neighbors.
prepared. Yeah.
Did you know, or what have you seen?
Yeah, so I was like, oh man, but luckily they didn't have like news crews and stuff, so my parents don't know, and it was very hard not to like say, by the way, because she already gets mad that I walk out at night by myself, and
now she's like, see, you're walking at night with death lamps around you. What the hell?
So I was like, oh my god. But yeah, it was kind of nuts.
And it's a good side of town too, and everything. You have condos.
It's nice enough. It's supposed to be quiet.
It's a quiet neighborhood, quiet area. It's not like anything you think, well, man, like where in the hell is Lola living? It's none of that. It's actually a really respectable property.
It's kind of, yeah. And then so I went swimming last night, and there was neighbors in another building that were out there.
Have you heard any chisme from other neighbors and stuff?
Well, they were talking to me about it, and they're just like, oh my god, that guy was so nice, and he apparently would walk at some time during the day and just walk the complex, and they work at night, so during the day if they're out, they're just at home. So he was like, we would see him out and he'd say hi, and he's very just personable, you know? So if he's, it doesn't matter who you are, he would say hello, hi, and I was just like, oh, that's nice, I don't do that, but if you do, yes, I will reciprocate. But they had nothing bad to say about him either, so I was just like, holy smokes, like I always envision like drug dealers as like tattooed and y'all gangster looking and stuff, and not even the younger guy looked like that. No. I mean, he had like 90s, early 2000 issues were sagging pants, but
nothing just, like you would see in the movies and that.
Exactly, like, I was ready for like
missing teeth and like having like bruises or something.
Yeah, I was waiting for like the bandanas and like the little teardrop tattoos and stuff, but no. Normal as can be. I was just like,
they just cut up in the light. They got cut up in the light. That's all I can say with that. You know, that's usually how it happens. But man, the meth lab 2 doors down from you. That's crazy shit. Because you know, fucking Texas is getting high. What if that shit like bursted or something? You know what I mean? So it's just crazy.
And the neighbor that just moved in next to him, not even 2 weeks before she moved, before this happened, she had asked me, she's like, so how's the neighborhood? Any trouble? Whatever. I was just like, and I'm
pristine.
Yeah, I was just like talking it up, and I was just like, ooh, maybe I oversold it because I saw her in the parking lot, and she didn't talk to me.
Like, this bitch
I was like, oh my god. So, but I mean, you take a chance anywhere. I know crime's everywhere, and
it is.
I just was kind of like
taking it back, a little bit too as well.
And it was funny because the first thing I did, I was like, "Oh my god, guys, did you know that there's something?" So it's not like I was worried as I should have been, but I was
you're like, "Damn, 411."
I was like, "Oh my god." So it's the most interesting thing that I could say. I was like, "Wow."
That is definitely interesting, and nothing. I've been like, I check out my ring because I have a ring here. Like, like only like butterflies and like fucking gnats and flies are going across my ring, which I'm very grateful. I don't want any drama. Going around my ring, but that's definitely something crazy. That's definitely chisme. That's definitely chisme. So from that, I don't have anything interesting going on in my house. I actually went to Rockport this weekend, and oh my god, we were surrounded by jellyfish.
Like, jellyfish?
Yes, like a swarm of jellyfish.
Is it the blue ones, like the Portuguese maniple, or those like regular
not
box
the ones
ones
with long tentacles? Those are a little bit more like the ones that have tentacles, like the long ones, because those can wrap around you. They just grab you and sting you. No, these were like the white, like balloon ones that have like a little ruffle down. Okay. So you have to be like really close to them for them to sting you, right? So, but there were like 40 of them like around you, and I'm like, holy crap! There's like a swarm full of freaking jellyfish. That's the most like cool, interesting visit, but also was like, ew. You know, you were kind of second guessing everything that was like running against your legs. You're like, shit, like something's crawling over my toes. What is it? Like, should go something swipe me. And then that was interesting. That's the only interesting chisme part that I'll share over this weekend. But that was something out there. But going back to San Antonio, we're talking about the heat and explosions and shit like that. I don't know if you guys have had. Hopefully, you guys haven't had any blackouts, because today there's been a lot of rollouts of blackouts. I know the west side experienced some, some of the northwest side experienced some blackouts over the I want to say Vance Jackson area, but probably not in your direction, probably the opposite one. But anyways, they received some blackouts because again, our grid is like bullshit. Like our grid can't handle this heat. So, and it's of course our grid is what was Akron or ECCRON. I forget the name.
Akron,
yeah, Akron. Well, so they want us to reserve from 2 to 8 p.m. Just because they're worried that their grid is
but
not
that's
going to
peak heat hours.
That's peak heat time. Yeah, that's peak heat time. So they want us to conserve with that. They want businesses to close down for those hours, or I don't know what they want us to do, like rub down each other with ice or something so that we don't use the AC. But definitely that's I guess Texas for you, and that's out for you. Privatizing our electricity. Because they can't handle it. They can't handle this heat.
Well, after snow apocalypse, I would have thought that they would have worked on the grid since then, because if they can't handle the cold, they can't handle extreme heat either. So it should be, to me, I would think, like, whoever they assigned and is getting those big old bonuses, like, let's put on the thinking cap and be like, okay, how can we prevent one and the other, not one or the other? I was like, because I don't think we had as cold a winter as this past winter, but when they say one is not as much, the other one is, and for us it's summer. So it's kind of nuts.
It's usually always summer, and like this summer has been we've been getting like these little heat waves. Like we've been at 105.
But we are record highs. So I'm like,
year,
oh my
and
God.
I'm like, how can we survive with that? With like people now working from home, using more energy from home. I mean, there's no sustainability, and like there's no also like thinking of like green energy or anything else to help with the situation. It's just about this little like. The millionaires getting richer and just like making us turn off the AC or conserve from 2 to 8 p.m.
Well, they're, filling their $1 million mansions.
No problem, because, and also not only that, not just skyrocketing heat, we're going to have skyrocketing like electricity bills soon coming in.
Mine went up like a good $20.
Man.
I don't change it. I'm stick around 75. And I have fans going all the time, but it's usually about $56 to $60, and not including like the processing fee. Damn it, girl. I hate that damn processing fee. But I'm like, all right. And then I got my bill this last time, and I was like, what the shit? And I was like, I'm washing the same amount of chones, and because it's hot, I'm all inquiries at home. I don't care. You look in my window, that's what you get, motherfucker, for checking me out.
That's what you get, man.
That's sorry, but so I'm just like, I haven't changed my routine, but the bill went up.
Yeah, the bill
and
went up.
I've seen how some other people have just been like, I've been paying extra, since that. So I was like, no, I'm fine. But I guess that's my karma for being too, like, oh, I'm good. So I was like, never mind, shut up.
It's gonna get heat, and then we're not like the heat. The hottest part of summer, it's August. Usually, is when they call it canicula. That's like usually that's when it really does get hot in August. It's like.
Do you think the problem with the heat is because it hasn't been raining as much?
Well, yeah, because we're so dry. It hasn't been raining that much. Of course, the ozone layer is another. Obviously, always is going to be an issue with. The air and all that stuff, but it's really because we're dry too at the same time. There's no rain to relieve that and all that, so it's like rains a little bit and that's it.
They had that weather alert on I was like, oh my God, I gotta get home. Yeah. I gotta get home. It's gonna like pour and thunderstorm and all sorts of stuff. I get home and I was like,
there's nothing.
I have my hand out, like I was like, where is it?
It was like for one neighborhood over there by 281 that probably like
got a little bit
down, and that's it. And
or it dried.
Yeah.
It evaporated by the time it got to us. It's like too hot.
So yeah. It's a combination of all that, so it's unfortunate. But, if you are with a family and you're kind of already getting high prices, and you don't have any plans for your CPS, I suggest for you to get the budget plan and like enroll to it and get yourself stuck in that budget plan, because then CPS cannot hike you up as much as they would on a budget plan. They usually have to stick with the budget that they gave you for like 6 months or something. So do that now, enroll in it, and then if it's like $150, that's all they're going to be able to charge you, or at least they won't hike you up as much if you're not on anything kind of protection. So I would recommend get on that budget plan for CPS if you haven't done so. If you are a family and your bill is already kind of high, you don't want to get like double or triple, I would suggest get on that budget plan, because it does lock you in a rate for a couple months. They do tend to like readjust you, but it's like months from now, and if it does increase, it's like a little bit, as not as much as they're able to increase it if you're not in that budget plan. So I highly recommend to get on that if that's one of the major concerns sense of like, I don't want to be paying $400, $500, you know, when my bill is $200, you know, it can go up to that high, especially right now in this heat. I know in this home, we were getting 200 something bills. So right now I'm considering it to be cheap when I'm getting 190. So that's like our budget bill. But I locked myself in that budget plan because I knew like this house is older, so it's not very insulated very well.
Oh, okay.
So that's why our bill is higher. Yeah, and it's like also like a 4-bedroom. I have 2 kids, you know, everybody's
in and out
and stuff like that. So it's not as like I'm a single person here, or like, you know, or just a couple that were very like budgety friendly. And I also live with people who sweat tremendously and they're always hot, so they are like bears, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm the only one that's like freezing my ass off here, but everybody else like why is it cold?
We run hot. Yeah, I run hot too. So I stay in one spot. Like I walk my dog, I get my snacks, I have everything's within hand's reach, and I'm like, okay. So I sit there, I have my hair up, and I'm like, okay, it's cool.
Yeah.
But I start moving, and I'm like, I gotta turn off the light, I gotta do this, and it's just getting hot.
Crazy.
So
Yeah. So definitely, I recommend the budget plan for anybody. Really, if you feel like you need to get on it, get on it. It's
I want to do that. I think a friend of mine said it helped, and I would like the stability of knowing that my payment's going to be that, because every time I'm waiting for that email, and I'm like, I have a certain amount, which is always more than what I normally pay. Mm-hmm. So if it's less, I'm like, hey, I got an extra $5, whatever. But that sounds like a good idea.
But at least you know that that's your budget. That's for your electricity bill. You can depend on that for the next couple months, and then they will reassess you again to see what your new assessment for your bill. Because my bill did go up this year because of how hot it was. But I mean, it wasn't drastic because before I was in the budget plan, I was getting $200, $300 bills. Like it was pretty high. I was like, shit, no, I'm not gonna go through that. So I budgeted myself. I put in the budget plan, and they locked me into that rate, which is good, which I'm okay with. But yeah, because I've heard other people getting bills like for $300, $400, $500 on their home, and it's like, fuck, like I don't know how you can do that, because you know, payment plans, but then you get so behind sometimes, and it's like hard to get out of that home.
Yeah, and then they make you pay so much of what you haven't paid, so you can get caught up, and that's a big chunk of change.
Yeah.
Look into like fan. They offer fans to like families and stuff. If you have loved ones, old elderly, they're more sensitive, I would think, to hot and cold, those extremes and stuff. So if you need fans, maybe it's just to the family. It doesn't have to be elderly, but like your kiddos and stuff. We saw my niece and nephew this weekend, and
nice.
my youngest nephew, he just was like a big old hot potato. Oh. He's super cute. He was fine because we were by the pool and stuff, but he just was like, his little cheeks were red, and no matter what you did, he just did not cool down. And I felt so bad because I'm just like, we as adults can regulate, and we can put cool towels, but then you're making them uneven.
Yeah.
So, it just was a poor guy, but he was just loving it because we were like, he's splashing water, and I was like, oh, he's my goodness.
He's a little one.
So just keep an eye on him.
That's a good tip though, like the cooling fans, because I know the city of San Antonio does have programs like that, and they will be rolling out these programs or like these drop-offs and other community programs too as well. So keep that out. And I guess another good tip is to again keep an eye on the city of San Antonio. I know they announce it through the TV and online and Facebook. I'm pretty sure they're going to be coming out with cooling spot, because if we do get blackouts, they do have areas you can go in there and cool off for the hours, just in case that if your home was one of the ones that have to have a blackout for a couple hours, go to this cooling area so that we can cool off until your home has electricity again, and we can go back in. So that's a good little, just to keep update of we have to work together to help Texas, because Texas itself can't help their own citizens. But talking about blackouts, I guess the other Pos Wow segment that story that I found was interesting was, I don't know if you read it, but it's talking about San Antonio being a blackout in 2024. Have you heard about it? Okay, astronomers here are really excited about it. They're already planning from now for 2024. Apparently, we had this situation in 2017. We had a partial eclipse. But I think we only had the partial part, the ones who had the peak part of the blackout was in the Missouri area. Mm-hmm. So we're finally gonna get that whole experience of it being pitch black, dark, but at 1:32 in the afternoon.
Oh, so I think I saw something, but I didn't understand it. They were looking up with those 3D glasses or something, and I just kept scrolling because I was just I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
So that happened in 2017 for the partial one. People took off for an hour to go to experience it.
Maybe that's what I was just moved on, because I was like, this is where
Yeah,
it happened.
and it was just a regular little tips
Yeah.
for us because we had a partial one. We didn't get to experience the whole thing. So we're now going to have the chance of experiencing it in 2024. So mark your damn calendars. Put it on your phone at 1:32. Okay, so ask for your time off now.
It's the whole year?
No. At 1:32.
One day.
At 1 day for guess how long?
4 hours.
4 damn minutes and something seconds.
4
so
minutes.
it will be dark outside. It would be like if you're at night, the full moon and everything. But it'd be at 1:32. Good experience to kind of get through. Like, I was through the blackout for whole.
What's the day?
Minutes. It's gonna be.
Monday, April 8th, 2024.
Yes.
Is the solar eclipse.
Yes, it's a solar eclipse.
And it shows like the whole, like it's black. Like,
Yes.
I'm like, whoa.
We're supposed to experience like we're at night and it's 1:32 in the afternoon. So, that's why I said schedule your calendar on your phone for future date. Because by the time this time I'm gonna forget, and I'm like, why in the hell is it so dark out here?
You're gonna walk out like, dude.
All right, what's going on?
Covered the sun.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that was interesting. That was pretty cool. And it's for 4 minutes, but at least we get to experience it and like figure that out. Well, you say you don't remember it, right? Because I don't think I was here in 2017 San Antonio, but I don't remember it. I honestly don't remember anything about it.
Probably was too hot or something for me to be outside.
I kind of glimpsely remember that, but it's one of those. But yeah, that was one of my other no Pos Wow that I want to bring up. Do you have one, Lola?
Well, I'm just looking at where I found the date. It has these listings of the best places to view it. So it has Mazatlan, Sinaloa, Mexico.
Okay.
Nazas, Durango, Mexico. I apologize if I don't say these names right. Piedras Negras, Coahuila, Mexico.
Mm.
Radar Base, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Kerrville, Lampasas, Hillsboro, Sulphur Springs, Texas, and then now in Russellville, Arkansas, Cape Girardeau, Missouri, Vincennes, Indiana. So it's kind of like the whole Central Standard Time deal. It's going all the way up and stuff. So,
but I think everybody's experiencing.
Yeah, everyone's gonna
different days. So we're gonna experience it on that date that you mentioned at 1:32. So that's why I kind of have it precise. But that's amazing. They can have it precise like that.
They have time. It shows this one in Buffalo, New York starts at 2:04 and ends at 4:32.
Wow.
But that's Eastern time, so I'm not sure if that's because they're calculating all that or whatever. So
that's pretty amazing.
But then imagine the people that are flying.
I know.
That would be nuts. You just
be nuts to be up in the air for that transition. And
imagine the turbulence you experience.
Yeah, you probably can see it even more up close as you're you're not right there, but you're closer than us.
You're in the freaking
so
sky.
That's pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah. No, the other thing I found or I was looking at was what's her name? The basketball star, Brittany Griner. We had mentioned her a while back about what's going on. And the one thing that was the most interesting was, unfortunately, she had to plead guilty in order to have some kind of deal, in order for her to be exchanged for someone we're holding of Russian interest or something. So I was just like, dude, that sucks. I was like, because if she was a man, I'm thinking maybe she would have been out already, or they wouldn't even try to pin anything on her. And one of the notes in here says that the reason why she pleaded guilty was because she said she packed the, I guess it was like a vape or something that contained the illicit drugs they're talking about accidentally. And it's like, well, it's unfortunate, but I mean, did she do it with intent to distribute or whatever? Was it personal? Because I think you can tell all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was just unfortunate that, that she had to do that in order to, I mean, I suppose in a way when you're in a pinch, you want to get out, you may do it. But when you have the whole country that can come to your aid and all that, and now you're put in a position where you have to, it's not just the United States. It's not just your home state. This is international. Yeah. So does that impact her team she's on? Mm-hmm. Isn't she on a Russian team, or she plays over there?
She plays over there, but I think she's a coach over here in the United States too as well.
So yeah, I mean that's her future and everything, and it's just way the cookie's crumbling for her, it's not good. But
it's horrible. But how many years did they say that she was going to get? If everything
they said about 10 years. 10. Let's see, it says made honorary WNBA All-Star while facing 10 years in Russian prison.
I know, it's crazy.
I said, holy smokes. I think it's hard doing time over here. Imagine over there.
Over
They
there.
really don't like.
No, and then she is a queer black woman, and they over there have
Is that
roots.
illegal over there, or is
Well, they
that?
have like laws against it, and it's not very well accepted at all over there. And she's going to prison.
That could be the double whammy for her,
Yeah.
where they're trying to stick it to her because
Yeah.
now, you know, whatever. I have no idea. I did not read everything about it, but I just thought that was interesting because as a woman, like, you know, I know they had a journalist that was somewhere over there, not in Russia in particular, but he didn't have to do anything. He was just held.
Yeah.
He was a prisoner. So I'm like, that's freaking nuts. I was like, here we
It's
go.
crazy. I know, and a lot of you know, she has said it, and some of the people over here have said it on her camp. They said if this was LeBron or any other like male athlete, they already had made a negotiation, a deal, and you know, of course, it's fair to say that, you know, to feel that way. So it's unfortunate, and there's a lot of people, like, I don't know if you've heard like a lot of the controversy with this too. Like, there's so many people that are just like bashing her because she is queer, and there's other people who are like, well, she gets what she deserves because she kneels for when the national anthem. So, oh well, she's making $200,000 and she's complaining. You know, well, she knew what she was doing, and you know, so too bad for her.
Can you explain the whole kneeling? Is that like a? It's not like anything against America, right? It's not like a bad thing, or are people making it out to be a bad thing because they're talking about like a respect and you should be standing with your hand over your heart during?
Yeah, because the whole kneeling with the national anthem when that's played, it came from Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, the football guy.
The football guy. So everybody at that time, everybody was like criticizing over Black Lives Matter protesting, and like it can. A lot of people would twist it around saying that it was violence and all that stuff. So he picked a very peaceful, silent way to protest black men getting killed by cops. So that's why he kneeled down during his anthem, because he's saying, well, why am I going to, you know, sing or like praise this song if it's not protecting people who look like him? So,
Gotcha.
So he decided to protest and he took a kneel. So everybody now had an issue with silent, peaceful protesting because they felt like it was a diss to America, that it was disrespectful for all the people that sacrificed their lives, you know, for him to have that privilege, this and that. But, you know, everybody has their own take. There's a lot of servicemen and women that say, well, this is why we gave up our lives for America, so we can have our own freedom to express what how do we want to do it. And then so many criticism about how, like, oh, protesting and violence and like these riots and all this stuff, why can't they just silently protest? So here's someone who's a black man silently protest, but he's protesting against police. Not a lot of people have this big, like, hurt in their heart that he's protesting. So a lot of famous basketball players would do this, and in football is was a more bigger issue because it's more like patriotic.
It's America's pastime.
Yes.
It's kind of like in baseball too.
Yeah.
I don't think they do that in baseball, or I have not seen a story that way. But
I'm not sure. I think in the very beginning, maybe some baseball heard did kneel, but not really anymore. But the ones who do it more often is actually in the basketball league. The basketball league has always been known to be a little bit more progressive, more black orientated, black and brown orientated. So those are their players. Like, we can't get around. That's the players. That's the majority. So they're not going to go against their players and express their rights. They're doing it silently.
Correct.
Peacefully. They're actually exercising their amendment, of freedom of free speech, so they're not forcing anybody else to do it.
I'd rather someone do that than, what's that white boy's name that was out there with his AK-47 and shot and killed people and saying he was defending himself. And it's just like, well, you had intention to, the defense comes, you're not prepared for the defense. Yeah. That's the whole thing when you're defending yourself. You're not exactly. So I'm just saying, I'm just like, but they kind of just brushed it off as just like, well, okay. I'm just like, I'd rather 15. This guy kneel than, imagine if he showed up with a bit. I mean, it'd be different if he was white and he showed up with a gun, but he's here to play basketball. But it has to do with color and all that. And I just didn't understand the significance. I tried looking it up once, but
it was basically, it started off with him protesting why black men are dying under, cops, and there's no, liability against cops, like, or like putting pressure on them to actually get fired or get jail time, all this stuff. George Floyd happened, all that stuff was happening. It was kind of the height of everything, and still kind of is, but that's how it started. So in basketball, there's a lot of players who still do it.
Yeah.
And they, they just let them be, they continue. It's like a culture there. But so there's a lot of people now with a lot of hate towards her because she's known to kneel for the national anthem too as well. So they're like, she gets what she deserves because she disrespects the flag and this and that. She's queer, she's lesbian, she's not patriotic, so she makes so much money, and she's so selfish because she had to go overseas to make 200K. She's already making 200K here in America, and she had to go overseas to supplement her income. I'm like,
but she doesn't even make that much as the American basketball players
compared to a male basketball player. And that's like where people are so like I know jaded in a way. They forget like the bigger picture is that overall as a female, she's not getting paid anyways compared to your basketball
with the same skills and the same
exactly. And they get like the shittiest like programs sometimes as the women NBA and stuff like that too. So it's just like it's a trickling effect, but people only want to like focus on the little things and just like the person as a human being who's stuck in freaking in Africa, don't say Africa, in Russia, getting freaking prison when that in Russia is not queer friendly, especially in the prison setting. So it's a lot of things against her, and that's one of the things I said. If I was a black, if I was LeBron, I would have been out already. I would have been already getting negotiated already, or like somebody like one of your male stars, and she would have been home already, which is, I think honestly, it would have been true. So yeah, definitely crazy. Like her story is still going to be ongoing for a long time. Hopefully, there's a resolution for her, or somebody in the freaking White House like starts getting like.
I think there was something in there about Biden supposed to help her or do whatever he could or whatever. But I think that's the caveat is when you agree to something that you didn't do, but to get out of the pinch, now it's like a public record. You can recant. You can say this and then just go back and be like, no, it was under just duress or whatever. But once that's on paper, that's gonna follow you and stuff. So hopefully everything works in her favor and she's not there as long, or whatever this Russian person that we have.
I know just there's a deal going on that on the back end that we don't know, but unfortunately, I don't know. Sometimes I don't trust like this current president either. Like, he says a lot of things, but he doesn't really do them, kind of thing. So we'll see how it goes. I just wish the best for her, and hopefully she does come home soon. But that's definitely a no Pos Wow moment too as well, because it's still like, wow, that's amazing that she's still over there. And like,
I hope she stays safe while
over
she's
like a
there.
vape cartridge. Those cartridges are this big, so it's not like, how is she gonna like be a smuggler with like a vape? You know what I mean?
Do they not allow that over there?
No, there's no tolerance over there with that. So, but if you're like smoking over there, right? And she was smoking in Russia and like smoking probably there. So, and in my head, like, I don't know, she probably just like packed it up so that she can go home with it, with some good weed or something she found over there, or whatever the case is, and probably didn't think much that crossing the border, it is going to be an issue. Like, there is these laws of like the ounces that she had in there, and that it was fill and stuff like that. So it's just one of those things that, unfortunately, when you go overseas, you have to be like super vigilant, especially if you're POC. They're going to get you for whatever they can, and even if you're rich or if you're poor. But if you're poor, no one's going to hear about it. That's for sure.
Yeah, there would be no news.
There's no news about it. So you're like more shit out of luck, but shit.
I know.
Like, don't drop the soap.
Yeah.
No, not about me lying fun of, but yeah, it's true. I mean, it's a different funds and different times, But yeah, hopefully she's able to find a solution for it. It's just like that. I cringe like when I hear that she's still fucking over there. Like, you know what I mean? That being that like, ugh, that's traumatizing. Like, I don't know how it's gonna work out. Of course, it's another story we have to like continue touching base.
Yeah, we'll have to follow up with that.
We'll have to follow up with that one. Well, let's switch over to like a happier end of a story.
Sure.
This is another story that I found that I felt like, wow, it's amazing, just because she is the first Mexican-born woman to fly to outer space. Have you heard about this one? She's 26 years old. She's freaking young. Her name is Kayla Escharaceta. Kayla Escharaceta. She is 26 years old. She's actually was born in Guadalajara, Mexico. And she's an electrical engineer living in San Diego. And of course, she is one of 6 participants who have been tapped for and been chosen to fly for the Blue Origin's latest suborbital expedition. So she made history because she's actually the first Mexican-born astronauts going up there. So that's pretty great. And another thing I like about her story is that she didn't start off in a 4-year university. She actually started off at in 2006. She actually was a student of the year at the San Diego City College. Then from there, she transferred to UCLA to get her electrical engineering bachelor's, and now actually she is still going to school at St. John's Hopkins University to get her master's in engineering. So she's like pretty amazing. She was, of course, astonished and amazed and grateful that she was able to get chosen for this. And so that's pretty great that she's going to be going through that. She will be serving as a citizen science astronaut on behalf of Space for Humanity, it's a Denver-based space exploration interest group. So they definitely did mention that and clarified. Sorry, guys, that's my dog, Frida. She came into the room. So
Get down.
yeah, so that's pretty interesting. I thought that was great. I don't know. Have you heard about that story or that article?
Well, I saw. So every time you ask me about something and I say no, I've seen the picture. No. I've seen the picture, but I like scrolled over it. So I'm like, oh man. But I saw, because there is the picture, the first picture that came up is her with the Mexican flag in front of the Blue Origin's little.
Yeah.
I guess I can't see all of the picture right now. If not, it'll turn on music or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, that's cool, Mexican flag. Like, I was assuming she'd be someone of Mexican descent. So I was like, cool. So I just like scrolled. But now that you're talking about it, I'm like, oh, dude.
Yeah.
That's very important though, because it's just a matter of like, you know, it says the first Mexican born and one of the youngest. So that's awesome, because if you think about the generations below us, not that they're below, but like the younger ones, they have so many like stigmas around with them, that, you know, the millennials and all sorts of stuff. I was just like, but she's making history for her family and for Mexicans period of descent, and that's awesome. And then she's still going to school, so it wasn't like she capped out. Like she's still like pursuing any kind of goal. And
I really like the fact you start at a city college. You're like, hey, like, doesn't matter where you start. Like, you can always transfer out, get your life together, or get your grades up. Like, there's always like an opening for everything. Sometimes our world gets so closed in, or we get so embarrassed. Well, I'm only going to community college. You're like, what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yep. There's
always a point to it. Like, find. Like, I always tell, like, at least my kids, like, I don't care if you're going to community college. Just find what you want to do, and then go through it. Like, if you change your mind, it's okay to change your mind, change your degree, and figure it out. I just don't want you not trying or not like being scared because you're going to a smaller university or you're going to a community college. Like, it doesn't really matter how you get there. It just matters like you got there. You know, you establish it, or that you took longer for you to do it. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, as long as you're able to finish it and that you enjoy it, or unless you're enjoying and not going to school and like being proud of yourself what you're doing, that's fine too. But I just like the whole fact that she went not the traditional route you always see, like, oh, they accepted to an Ivy League school, or like they've always been in a university, you know, kind of thing. So it's kind of like a different route, and also just seeing her that she is like a brown woman, you know, going like in the astronaut, like going into space. So that's amazing. So kudos to her. She does have a TikTok account where she is like promoting her STEM onto her community and to the younger generation. It's Camp Voltage. I'll pin it somewhere in one of the pictures that I'm going to probably put on her on Wednesday or something. But she has that where she kind of promotes STEM and like her own journey of like becoming where she is right now. So, and her love for engineering. So that's amazing. I felt like that was like wow, that's a good little story and like information that I was able to read into. Talking about another woman, or actually not another woman, another young girl, actually from San Antonio. Her name is, let me look for it because I think, her name is Harine Logan. She's actually from San Antonio, and she's actually the winner for the Scripps National Spelling Bee contest. So,
oh yes, I did see.
You see it? Okay.
Yeah, I did.
She's from San Antonio, San Antonio native, and actually what's interesting about her, she has another interesting story, is that she was actually eliminated. And then she was reinstated by the same judges later on, and she freaking won the thing afterwards. So that was pretty cool. She got eliminated because she stated, because that word that that word that she got eliminated had two different meanings. So she said one of the definitions. So they took a break and then they kind of like, I guess they talked about that and they said that it still kind of correlates with the word. So they let her to come back in to get reinstated and finish the contest. So, so that's actually pretty cool that she actually won the freaking thing after that. The word that she won with is moorhen.
Moorhen?
Moorhen. How do you spell it? How would you spell it? Don't be looking it up.
No, I'm looking at her. I promise I'm not looking at the name.
Moorhen.
Moorhen. Can I have the definition, please? Can you use it in a sentence?
Shit. I barely can speak English.
Mohran? Moorhen?
Moorhen is a bird. It's a
Mohran.
mash bird.
So Morhan? Moran?
No.
Is it moron? I'm a moron. Hold on.
So,
I mean, let's look it up because now I like those. Whenever I'm listening to podcasts, I'm watching TV, I hear something, it makes sense in the sentence, but I want to use it out of that context. I mean, because who in the hell, you know, when you're watching TV, you're never going to use that language, but
I had to use like the whole thing where you kind of can hear it to pronounce it, so that way I can pronounce it right. Moorhen.
See? Well, okay. Hold on. I've seen it that way. The Morhan.
It's a marsh. They also are known for like called marsh hens. They are like a medium. No, marsh. Like marsh and then hen, like a hen. They are a medium-sized water bird.
So it's a bird?
Mm-hmm. I think the family is like Riley or something like that. The bird's family or something like that. But it's a marsh hen, medium-sized water bird. Moorhen.
Oh, Moorhen. Moorhen. Oh, I see.
That was the winning word for her. And she won $50,000. Her plan with that, of course, is save some of it for her college, and then she wants to pay it forward and for students who are wishing to advance their literacy skills. So
nice. That's
pretty cool. Since she cannot compete again because she's already is a winner. She says during her high school years, she plans to authorate a book. Like she plans to write a book during her high school year. I'm like, geez Louise, girl. I'm like, dang. I'm like, okay, the spelling bee wasn't it, but you know, she said her love for spelling came from reading, so she wants to author a book when she's in high school on her years there. So that's amazing. So many luck and blessings for her. Smart young lady, and a humble heart because she's going to donate some of that money for her fellow peers or whoever is interested in like pushing into literacy and like, you know, moving their career in that realm. So that's pretty nice. So good job, parents. Good job.
Yeah, good job.
But yeah, so that was like really nice. And actually she won a couple, I would say
small perks and stuff.
You know, she won a little while back ago, but with all the tragedy shit that was going on, it's like, okay, let's talk about this shooting. Let's talk about that. Like, Rose was late. This will be a lot. So I'm like, you know what? Let's keep it as light as possible for these Pos Wow segments. But I felt like that was a really nice one for her. And especially because she's San Antonian, you know what I mean? And it's pretty cool to see her up there. But that's really the only like other Pos Wow moments that I wanted to touch base. I know you had another story that I wanted it's like, I know we've all heard like segments of this story, but like which of the Amber Heard one?
Oh yeah. So with Amber Heard, the trial, like homegirl lost.
Yes, of course.
Sorry for you, but they were... she was trying to declare a mistrial because she's saying that one of the jurors was impacted or influenced by the media and that they already had like an unfair advantage and stuff. And it's just, I think it's honestly because she can't pay for the dang settlement.
No shit, yeah.
Like, I mean, I think those appeals should be done right away. Or you're in the middle of the trial. If you know this is going on or you're aware of it, like, why wasn't it presented by her lawyers at the time and stuff? I mean, I'm not a lawyer by any means. And to me, I'm just kind of like, tough titties, girl. You know.
Yeah. Now you have to like figure out how to get that money.
Yeah, and I mean, they're showing pictures of her walking like. What is it? The L'Oreal or something? I think she was walking on a catwalk or something. She was doing some model show and then she's like at TJ Maxx or something. I was just like, hey, don't talk about TJ Maxx. I love TJ Maxx, but I was just kind of like, oh my god. So yeah, they're just saying that
how much does she owe?
It says. I thought it was 10, but I think you said it was 13. I can't get like a full...
Like a straight amount? We'll just go with 10 just because it's a nice even number. But I mean, she owes shit though. That's
well, because this note that I last saw said the 10 million plus verdict. So that's why I was like,
okay, maybe it's like more.
They
additional.
mentioned one amount, but it probably like was reduced and all sorts of stuff. But either way, homegirl can't pay it. And,
no, I think they're suing her now. They're doing a civil lawsuit because she's not paid. You know what? And Johnny Depp has said like the money that he's getting from her, he's actually going to donate to that organization that she said that she donated his money to. Remember, I don't know what organization it was that she was going to donate her money to that charity.
Yeah, and she never gave it.
No, so he's donating that money to that charity that she like said she was supposedly going to do it. So it's like
this small note shows here that it says that they may have hit a dead end with the judge Escarate insisted on a June 24th final judgment hearing that Heard has to put up $8.35 million bond before any appeal can even be considered moving forward. See, all the different amounts and stuff.
Yeah,
they're probably trying to help her, but then like she probably just doesn't have any amount. Mm-hmm. So now, but you wanted the battle, you wanted the whole court proceedings.
Yep.
And that's unfortunate because sometimes you got to see stuff through, and it's but
it doesn't always go in your favor.
No, and I think that's where what happens with some. Like, you can tell she's, like, a new celebrity compared to his celebrity.
Yeah.
He's been in for so many years, and you're trying to sue for, like, so much money. Mm-hmm. And then, if
you have to have your evidence solid, like...
But if you don't have it, period, you're 50-50, it's going to go either way and stuff. And
but I think she was just, like, was banking on, like, they're always going to believe the woman kind of thing, you know what I mean?
But, yeah.
But, as we all know, that's not always the case, It's always...
Well, we're seeing that more now, because I've had some guy friends kind of tell me that some women are abusive and they're mm-hmm. taking advantage. Mm-hmm. And I said, this is the smallest violin for you. I said, but... You know what? You're probably right. I said, there's just some women that are vindictive and, I said, but what are you doing? If you're allowing and you're staying mm-hmm. there, you're enabling that behavior. I'm not blaming you as the victim. I said, but you have to do something.
Yeah.
Either get out of the situation or whatever. I mm-hmm. said, so you tell someone. Yeah. Call the cops on her. File that report. You're like, oh no, but she didn't hit me that hard.
Yeah.
File that report.
Yeah, it's so funny how like all these like tips that we're giving to men, it's like what we were giving to women, And it's like, hey, now maybe the shoe's on the other foot, and like see how the system really does work for you. You know what I mean?
So much for this being a happy ending, but
but yeah, no, I heard that she was getting sued too for that money, and Johnny Depp, that's his plan, is donated to that charity. I think he already did donate some money for that charity already, due to the money he was able to get. But like, I think this is what he's expecting to donate to that. So that's pretty cool. And he's like, doing his band and shit like that. So
I think he performed after.
Yeah, right after that shit. He was like in I guess in whatever state he was going to perform. But I mean, that's crazy. So yeah, that's definitely like that's another hot topic that's going to be coming along. Like we have to update that on like later on. So it's like all these like no Pos Wow women, these hot topics. I think we're gonna just have to touch base like throughout the series and stuff like that. So let's see how all that pans out. But yeah, that's like I think that those are the ones stories that kind of stood out for us this past couple.
I think it has a lot to do with like just mental health, period.
Yeah.
Because I hope she gets help. I mean, somehow, some way, maybe she don't need she probably needs some kind of like adjustment, mm-hmm. Someone to talk to, someone to help her, something, because I mean, not only is that like a big deal to lose,
yeah,
if you in your mind think you're a victim of some kind of abuse, and then to lose, that's not going to be helpful either for you to stay in that moment of just like, well, oh my God, what are they not going to believe me next time if something happens? And
it's a lot. I mean, we do have to say like it's going to be stress for her too as well. Like there's a lot of issues that she's going to have to deal with, and then him too. But I mean, for her, not just to deal with like the mental health issues, but and like the stigma that's going to come seem to be attached to her for a long time, if not forever, is now the financial issue. You know how when you put money stresses on top of something like that, it's like even more like stressful and strenuous, and it just melts over or pops sometimes with that. So him, he's gonna have a lot of issues too as well. But I mean, he has his career, hopefully that he's getting back, and his money that he's like, his legacy that he's become an actor for. But no, for real. But these some were like, oh, okay, no Pos Wow moments, but it was just like something that wanted to touch base, just to lighten up a little bit and kind of just see what's going on when we think of it. Hopefully by next week we should be able to announce what we're trying to work on, and hope we bring you guys along with that journey as well. We are looking for guests, so if you want to come on and share your either life experience, your business, your knowledge, your education, if you're a counselor, if you're a therapist, if you're a love coach, a dating coach, a horoscope reader, whatever, and a professional bullshitter, or a guy who knows how to charm his way out and wants to teach us some kind of tips of dating, go for it. We like to see the perspective of everybody, not just of women, but it is a women-run show, so we are going to drill you respectfully. But bring us your information. If you also have ideas for topics for us to touch or figure out or research, let us know too. We are definitely down for that. We're just trying to gather and brainstorm some more information, more guests coming up in the future. Just hit us up, DM us on Insta or on TikTok, or Facebook is usually what we post more often as well. And just let us know, and we are more welcome to work with you and work with your schedule and figure things out from there. All right, y'all have a good one. Stay fresh, conserve as much as you can, and we'll see you next one. Bye.